You're listening to Exchanges with Rachel. Real stories, real people, and a world of perspective.
You're going to meet Johannes, our exchange student from 2017 to 18. He was our first exchange student here in Texas, and he's from Germany.
Okay. Hey.
Hi.
Okay, so I guess we'll go through the questions, just answer them as, you know, honestly as you can. Yeah. Okay, so my first question is, did you have any expectations before you came? Like
Mm.
of your host family, where you were going to live, what Americans were like in our natural habitat, what?
I don't think I really had any specific expectations. Um, but of course, you see things in movies and films and TV shows where, yeah, you see how you expect people to behave and how school works. But
Right.
of course, it was nothing like it. The school was kind of like in Germany, just the levels of the education were
They're
different,
different. Yeah.
and but there were also many good parts um, that you see in the movies,
Hmm.
but not as present as they are in movies. Like you have the school spirit, you have the sports that all play a really big role in school,
Right.
but nobody dances around in the auditorium or I don't know the basketball players
Right.
sing with the I don't know
Well,
singers.
right. Well, and you were in a really small town. We only
Right.
have like 1,600 people in our town. So
Yeah.
it's also on a smaller level,
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. For sure.
But but the things that you see and that you think that might be there, almost all were there, and there were also really nice people, which yeah, it's kind of twisted. I don't know. It's like sometimes in you hear that Americans are like really friendly and welcoming, but sometimes you hear are they're really like over the top and I don't know, not
Loud.
as friendly as they yeah loud
Okay.
and
Yeah.
not as friendly as they seem on the outside. But I didn't really have that. I didn't really see that. Most people were really welcoming. They were all really nice,
Hmm.
and yeah, I
So that
just
met your expectations then, huh?
right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it even exceeded them.
Good. Good.
People were more welcoming than I thought, and nicer than I thought, and I didn't really. Yeah, I just felt very welcome in
That's
school and
good.
also with my host family.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm glad you did. Even though we were like, there are a lot of us to deal with every day.
Yeah, that's also one thing. I mean, I knew before that there were lots of people,
Yes,
and I
lots of
thought
people.
it was gonna be a lot, and it was a lot, but it was a good lot. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
I never really had the impression that I couldn't have room for myself because you were all really respectful, or everyone was really respectful of the other people's personal space and time,
Okay.
and there were also many yeah possibilities to like have your own time if you wanted to. But there were also you also had always had the possibility to talk to someone else, do something that you liked, and just bond with the family. I really
Oh,
thought
that's
that
good.
was cool that there were so many people and so many different people. I mean,
Yeah. So just
it,
to clarify, because when I post this, basically because we had, there were seven of us in the home when you got here. So we
right,
had all five kids living here at that point, all the way from, a senior in high school. Sylvia was a senior,
yeah,
and
right,
all the way down to at the time a toddler.
yeah,
Nathaniel was a toddler. So, and then the three in the middle.
mm,
So yes, it was a full house for sure.
right.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because of the patchwork situation.
The patchwork.
That's what you call it in Germany, patchwork family,
Oh,
where
okay, okay. Blended.
two
We call
families
it,
blended
yeah,
together.
blend. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
A patchwork.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's what we call it in Germany. And I really liked that because there were so many backgrounds in one family, which
Yeah,
was really interesting to also see the dynamics of how you all interacted.
right, right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Because I know that can be kind of, um, for people who don't come from a background like a blended family or patchwork family, that can kind of feel intimidating, I would think. At
Right.
first, like, oh wow, what is that going to be like? But it's good to hear that you found the positive in it,
Mhm.
getting to see all the different backgrounds and like our origin stories, really.
Right.
Um, you know,
And they
um,
were interesting.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, they were right, right. Okay, well,
Positive.
huh?
Positively
Yes,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. Well, good,
Positive.
good.
Positive, interesting. But
Yeah, positive.
whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Um, So, what were you worried about? I mean, that kind of does tie into the next question. So, then what were you worried about before you came? And did you have any fears or,
Mm.
did anything spark kind of like an anxiety in you before you
Mm.
came?
Of course, I think that's natural.
Yes.
And to connect to the question before, of course, I really was worried about fitting in into the family because, I mean, you expect a really strong bond, and that was there, but then you're afraid to, yeah, come in there and like everyone just keeping the distance and keeping the I don't know how to say it, the group to itself. I
Mhm.
guess if you say it like that in a really big term,
Right.
but
Yes.
yeah, I was kind of worried to not fit into the family,
Hmm.
but that was not the case. I mean, you didn't make any difference between me and your own kids, which was really helpful. Um, I mean, in good and bad times, I guess you could say I was like your child,
Right.
and I was treated like one of them. um,
Those.
um, yeah, but of course, I was also worried about fitting in school and meeting new people because, yeah, it's hard. I mean, you're in a new country, you speak a language that is not your first language, which
Right.
you also are not that good at that point, I
You were
guess.
fine with your English, so
Yeah, I was fine, but like you worry about not being able to communicate in a way that you, yeah, get to know people on a really personal level. You're worried that
right.
it's always just on the surface.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't
Because you
really.
have to learn the nuances of the language itself and then also
Right,
of where you are. Like your
right,
location is going to have different sayings and, different meanings behind those sayings.
right,
Than like if you had been up in like New York or out in California. So yeah, that's for sure, that I'm sure that does spark a little anxiety,
right.
because you don't want
Yeah,
to make that mistake.
there were a few situations where I was like, okay, this is totally stupid what I just said. I mean, I remember that one situation where I don't know what we were talking about, but I wanted to talk about my pants, and I saw
Hold
and
on.
yeah, and because it was one of the first days, and I was so, I don't know, still not in the language. And then I said my trousers,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, what's the word? What's the word? Trousers? And you started to laugh because it was a funny situation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
nobody says trousers where
Right. Right.
in the US, right?
Right. Well, they do, but trousers can also like your trousers sometimes can mean your underwear.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that was, I think,
that's
yeah.
so it
In the
was the
South,
perfect
especially.
misunderstanding.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So
Um,
trousers is definitely more of a British, I think it's more
right,
British English or proper English term
right.
that, which is why I think like in the South down here, in the United
Yeah,
States, in the Southern United States, if we say trousers a lot of the time, it's talking about your underwear, your underwear.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. Okay.
yeah.
So, um, okay. So with all of that prior, feel all the prior feelings you had and concerns or fears, how did you feel when you actually landed in Dallas? Like when you got, like, I want to know how you felt as the plane came in, when you got off the plane and you had to walk all, through all the stuff, and then you saw us.
Mm.
What was that like? Now, and mind you, I have t 8 minutes on this, and I might have to call you again
Oh,
because,
okay.
yeah, but go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Um, honestly, I don't remember a lot.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Sorry.
Uh,
Let me look at my camera. See if anybody's in. Hey, shush. Sorry. That's
All
Duke
right.
and Freya. You never met Freya.
No, no, I don't
No,
think
she's
so.
beautiful. Come here. She's wet though. Come here. Freya. Okay, I hear you. She's a German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois
Oh,
Husky mix.
oh,
Shh.
a lot of work.
Yeah, so she talks. Yes.
Yeah,
She has a lot of work. She's very smart.
yeah.
Very smart, but loud. Sorry. Okay. Anyway,
It's all right.
so yes, so can you describe to me that feeling from the time that you were landing to the time that you walked out to us?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, I really actually don't remember a lot.
Really?
Um, yeah, it was a long flight. It
Hmm.
was the first time I flew in my whole life. And
Oh,
then,
wow.
yeah,
I
then,
think you did tell me that, but now I'm going,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
And, you've been preparing for so long. I mean, it's a process to get to the point where you step onto the flight and go to your exchange country. And yeah, so I was just really, really nervous, I think, but also just exhausted. It was a long
Right.
flight,
Hmm.
but when I was there and I finally got to see you all in person, I was just happy. I mean,
Yeah.
and I did have the feeling that we clicked from the first moment,
Hmm.
if I'm honest. Um, of course, first you have your, I don't know, the first time seeing each other is it's interesting because you're kind of trying to see how the other people how they behave, how they behave towards each other and then towards you, and then you kind of try to see how you fit into the group or
Right.
into the family. But overall, I was just really, really happy to see you because, yeah, I'd been preparing and looking forward to landing and being there.
Right, right. I
Yeah,
remember when you came out and we all hugged you. Like we all just like went up and we gave you hugs, and we
right,
were so excited because we were you were our first exchange student as a family, right?
right.
And so you were our guinea pig. You were our test subject. And it was it was such a feeling of like, oh, like it's almost like having a long lost family member
Yeah,
show
right.
up. That was how
Yeah,
we felt, to me at least. And I think, it would, I think for the kids even, they were just like, they were so excited. The boys were
mm,
excited to have a big brother, in a way.
yeah,
I think, and um, we were nervous. I mean, that's normal too for families. I mean, I don't know if you know, but we're nervous too
of
because
course.
yeah, we want to make the right impression. And I think at first for families, we feel like, we don't want to scare them off like in the
Mm,
first week, but
mm,
we're also still a family, and we still have our family things that we have to deal with,
Right.
good and bad. And so, like, how do we ease our new family member into it? And I don't know if you really got eased into it too much. I think we were pretty much, we were just like,
Yeah.
you're just here now.
I don't know if that's the right way to do it,
I don't
because
know. I guess every family has to figure it out for themselves. I mean, I
right,
guess. Yeah.
right.
But yeah, we were just kind of like, this is who we are.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know?
And I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. It did. It worked out just fine.
Right.
Thank goodness.
Right.
Thank you for joining us for Exchanges with Rachel. We'll continue Johannes' story next week. Catch you at the next one.